Thank you all for being patient. As you know, we are onboarding this week, so kids are still coming in. Kids are still coming. We're getting everything together. Just want to go over a few things with you guys. Yesterday, we went over over bank account information and things of that sort. If you was not here yesterday and today is your first day, please reach out to me or go to the counselor's table where Ariana and Dewan is, and they will be able to assist you. We're so happy to have you guys. We're so excited to get this all started. Before I forget, I want to let you guys know that tomorrow we will be on Remo. We will not be going in person. We're going to have some bad weather, so we're just going to do it online. And everything that we went over yesterday is recorded. So if you need it, please just let me know and we will send it over to you. I'm sorry, guys. We are going to enjoy the day. We're going to get to know everybody. So on Monday, we can take off running. I will make this announcement again tomorrow, but we are starting 9 a.m. sharp. 9 a.m. sharp. We're only doing this because this is onboarding week and we're trying to get everyone in and everyone together. 9 a.m. sharp. If you are late, this is a job, you will be docked. So please be mindful of the time of our instructors who are here to teach you. Without further ado, I am going to pass it over to Kata.
There we go. Okay. For some reason, the button wasn't working, but thank you so much, Shantae, for the introduction and for the check-in for everyone. Hi, my name is Caterina Aragon Lopez. For those who have not met me, I am the project manager for this summer program. So any questions that you may have about the program, you can always come to me or to my assistant, JC. We're always located on the staff table. And just a quick check-in and also a thank you for everyone for being here, especially for the instructors who are very excited to get to know you and work with you. As we have mentioned previously, we are still onboarding a lot of students into the program. So what we are going to be talking about today is mostly just a preparation for you once you start going out and filming your content, because we want to make sure that, one, you are keeping yourself safe and you're also keeping your team safe. That is, if you're working with more than just one person. This is a reminder that as you are filming your short film, you are going to be playing the role of producer, director, maybe actor, maybe production coordinator. So all of these roles have a specific use to them, and we want to make sure that you are prepared for what is to come. So what is going to happen today is I will give a brief overview of what it entails to go outside during a pandemic. So making sure that you are keeping safe during this pandemic. The reality is that although a lot of people are getting vaccinated, there are still some people who are choosing not to be vaccinated, which is fine. However, it is important for you to know that there are certain rules that have to go down when you are on set. But I will specifically talk about COVID safety. Once the presentation is over, we will break into our tables. So you will meet with an instructor that you were assigned to, and if not, please let us know. And your instructor will go down with the basics of on-set safety, because it's not just about a pandemic, but when you are on set, there are certain rules, certain guidelines that you must follow as a director, as a producer, as part of the team, because everyone's safety is important. And you are going to be held accountable for any issues that do happen on set. So again, we just want to make sure that you are prepared as much as possible. So really quickly, I will be sharing with you my little document of information for COVID safety. As I've mentioned before, the choice of you being vaccinated is your choice. We can't force you to be vaccinated. However, we really highly recommend that you do, because the scientists who have studied the coronavirus for a while now, and being vaccinated allows you to have a less anxiety of being outside and less risk of getting intense symptoms from the virus. So again, the most important thing is that you are checking in with your city hall to know what rules and guidelines are being placed for your town. So as seen here, I will link here the page for the reopening of City of Boston. That link is provides you with a lot of information, usually updated to the day, of any changes, of any regulations that are happening, of what stages the City of Boston is finding itself in. And again, we just want to make sure that you are as safe as possible when you are working outside, because you might be working with strangers, you might be outside with people who you don't know if they're vaccinated or not. And also the City of Boston provides you with a lot of information as to why you should get vaccinated and where you can vaccinate, and the different symptoms that might have. Just a lot of resources for you to find information that you might not have at hand with you. So if you are fully vaccinated, we are aware that you are not obligated to wear a mask outside. Because you are protected by the vaccine. There is a high percentage that you will not get the virus. However, just be cautious that there is a new variant, the Delta variant, that has been seen in various states. The vaccine does protect you from the variant, but again, always safety, it's important to be safe, and it's important for you to maintain your 6 feet of distance from people, especially if they are not vaccinated. So again, if you are going to work on set, even if it's outside, if the person is not vaccinated, we recommend you that you maintain your mask at all times. This goes as well with any actors on set, with any crew members that are on set. If there is someone who is not vaccinated, you should make everyone on set wear a mask. It is important for everyone to be safe, as mentioned again. When working with actors, it's awkward to have a scene where they're wearing masks unless your topic of choice for your film has to do with coronavirus or COVID-19. So if you are doing a narrative, a short film about a topic that has nothing to do with the pandemic, then you're going to have to work with your actors and let them know that, for example, when you're not shooting a scene, actors must wear either a face shield or a mask, or both if they wish, depending on the comfort of the actors. And then once the cameras are rolling, you will have them take off the mask. Once the filming is done, then the actors must wear their mask again. This, of course, is to ensure that you communicate with your actors and you know exactly their level of comfort. Your actors are a vital part of your film. Therefore, you must make sure that they feel as comfortable as possible when working on set. If an actor feels really awkward about doing a set, knowing that there's a chance that they might get sick, that is something that you will need to talk to them about and try to compromise. What's the best way for you to create this scene? There are many ways to work through this, so it's best to talk to someone, to your actors about this. It is also important when you are outside or inside, this goes both ways, that you have access to hand sanitizers, disinfectant wipes, any kind of Lysol or any kind of disinfectant material that you can use to either wipe certain equipment, certain areas like chairs, benches, anything that could be used by anyone that you do not know if they have been vaccinated or not. So sanitizing the area of work is important. The one thing we do want to keep in mind is that you shouldn't sanitize any microphones or cables or any sensitive material that could be damaged by the alcohol. So your instructors can go into further detail as to what these materials are, because again, we don't want you to damage your equipment when you're working. That would be such a sad thing, that you're working and then you sanitize your microphone and then it stops working. So these are important things to keep in mind. When you are in an indoor setting, things can be a little different. So currently the rule is that you shouldn't be in an indoor setting with less than 30 people, especially if you haven't been vaccinated. You shouldn't stay more than 30 minutes in an enclosed space. Again, we are not sure who has been vaccinated and who hasn't. If you have been vaccinated and you feel comfortable staying there, that is okay, but this is a communication that you must have with your crew and your actors when working in an indoor setting. If you are in an indoor setting, such as someone's house, and there's no one else in the room, then again, just communicate with them about how much time they feel comfortable being in a place and what kind of sanitation would be required, and what is most comfortable for everybody. Again, if you are in a closed establishment and no one is vaccinated or only one person is vaccinated, please maintain your mask at all times and then work with the actors to ensure that you can coordinate. We take off the mask when we are filming and we put it on once we're done, or when they are in their dressing rooms, that they can either have it on or off. Again, communication is key. In an indoor setting, we also recommend that you keep a window open, or any source of ventilation, so that air can flow through, and any air that might be from like sneezing or coughing can be filtered through. Make sure you sanitize your hands frequently, as well as your equipment. And again, keep a 6 feet distance from anyone around you who you do not feel or who you know that may not be vaccinated. So these are important things to keep in mind. I think later on we will have later on in the program, we're going to have a specialist in the pandemic and the COVID-19 virus who can explain a little further of, how the vaccination process is going, and, information about the variant later on into the program, and that will be provided by Next Leadership Development. So these are just to keep in mind when you're working on set during a pandemic. So I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Overall, that's pretty much straightforward information. If you do have any questions about COVID-19, please feel free to reach out to us. We can provide you as many resources as possible, but we also recommend that you visit your City Hall website to get more information, or even the link for the Boston government website that can provide you a lot of information on that. We understand that there are some hesitations. Again, it is not an obligation if you do not feel as though the vaccine is something that you want to do. However, we do recommend that you do your research and that you try to get vaccinated. It is important to keep everyone as safe as possible. So just to reiterate from the beginning, now we are going to break into our tables with the instructors, and the instructors will talk about set safety. So this entails how you organize, making sure who is going to be on set, their personal information, all of that information about keeping equipment, how to leave a set, how to enter a set. All of that information will be provided by them. Hello, Narissa.
Hey, I just wanted to jump in real quick and just say that some of the part of your training for tomorrow is going to be, excuse me, is going to talk about COVID safety. What Kata discussed here today is a brief overview, okay? It is not something that is like detailed as what you're going to get in the training tomorrow. I strongly recommend that you all get yourself a notebook, maybe something you used for school, so that you can begin to take notes. You're going to need something to be able to take notes. Once you come and pick up your gear, there will be a notebook provided to you. If you want to keep notes on your phone, I don't know if you can, because you may be using your phone to log into Remo, but you need to have something separate than what you're actually using to be a part of Remo, so that you can take notes. You're going to need this information as you move forward. The next, this week was about onboarding, and next week is about gathering as much information as possible, because then we have to start working towards getting you in the process of creating your films. So again, what Kata just said was a brief overview of COVID. Now you're going to talk about set safety with your respective teachers at each table. And when we say set safety, what does that necessarily mean? That means like there are certain things that you need to know when you're the person that's creating your set for yourself. So there are things that you need to pay attention to. Where are you filming? Are you filming close to water? Are you filming, did you decide that you're going to film in the midst of the storm that's coming tomorrow, which we don't recommend? I just want to say that. But these are things that you need to be thinking about. How do I protect myself as well as the people I've asked to come on set with me? That's what you're going to be discussing in conversation form now with your teachers at each table. And I want you to take this very seriously because you don't want to be responsible for someone getting hurt. It is the most awful feeling in the world. And you want to say you did your best to make sure that everybody was safe so that in case something does happen to someone, you can reassure yourself that you did the best thing possible from the beginning. Okay, so I really want you to take safety. This is safety first above all things, okay, except God, in my opinion. But at the same time, I want you to understand that you are taking responsibility for your film. So that means you're responsible for all of the aspects of what you're doing, okay? And some people may say, oh my God, this is a lot of responsibility. Well, you're getting ready to go out into the world and be an adult. And we want you to have the tools that are necessary so that you can be a fruitful, wonderful, viable, and just wonderful asset to our community. Okay. We want you to be prosperous. We want you to be successful. We want to encourage you to be strong individuals in the community in which you live, which you go to school, potentially where you're going to work one day, raise a family one day of some sort, or not have a family at all, and you're going to be a jet setter. Hey, I'm just saying, you're going to have a walk in life, and whatever that walk is, we want to make sure that we're helping you to develop some tools that can help you to move to the next level and the next level and the next level and the next level, because this is a foundation thing for you, okay? And I know I'm getting off of the safety track for a hot second, but let me step upon my soapbox because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page about this. This is a safe environment, okay, for you to communicate and network and talk to people. I know we got some shy folks in the house, and I'm not mad at you for being shy, but I do want you to be able to communicate in your shyness. Okay, just because you're shy and you may have a hard time talking to people, you still got to be able to figure out a way to communicate with people. You will not succeed without communication. That is the number one thing in business. That's the number one thing in growth. That is the number one thing in life. You must communicate. You must learn how to do that. I have people in my household. You see, I'm brazen. I talk out loud. I don't have no problem being on camera. I don't have a problem talking to people. But I have folks in my house, my husband, my kids, they're shy as I don't know what. They would not talk on the camera. They don't want to say nothing to nobody. So what do? They got somebody in their camp who doesn't have a problem doing that. So maybe you have someone that can help you to communicate in some way. Don't be a dependent, but yet still find some ways to help yourself to be a part and to be successful. Okay. All right. I'm going to turn it back over to Kata. I was just listening to what she was saying, and I was like, I got to say something because that's just how I get down. She's going to return you back to your tables. You're going to work with your teachers to go over the set safety. You're going to talk about it. This is not just, oh, they're going to jam rules down your throat. No, I want this to be a conversation. So if you have questions, ask them. This is the time. This is the time to ask those questions, okay? And I want you to talk to your teachers at the table because you're the first students to be a part of that teacher's table. That means you are first come, first serve, okay? So when all these other people start trickling in, the teachers are going to be dependent upon you in some way to help with the new students as well because you were the first. And it's a lovely position to be the first. You're the one with all the knowledge and the information, okay? All right, I'll see you all later.
that, Narissa. I really appreciate it. And everything that you said is exactly the purpose of this lesson for today. And one last thing before I let you all go to your tables is that I also want you to use this opportunity to discuss with your instructors what your goals are for this program. What do you want to overcome as a young person who is getting into the film business, or is this something that you do want to pursue? All of these conversations, all of these questions will be asked, and I recommend that you establish that those goals for yourself, because everyone is in their own journey to discover either a higher part of themselves or to discover what film entails, and also to even just learn skills that could be used for other things aside from film, like project management, or you want to make a festival, or you want to work as a teacher. All of these things matter. So I recommend that you speak to your instructors and ask these questions and have these conversations. So thank you for listening to all of this. And I am glad to see that everyone is excited to be involved in our program. So good luck, and I hope you learn a lot. Take care.
Tayla's here. Yay. All right, I'm out.
Hey, how you guys doing? Everybody sleep well? Did you dream? That's what I say to the kids when they wake up. Did you sleep well? Did you dream? Because that is important to making sure that you have an amazing day and making sure you filled your belly. Did everybody fill their belly? 1 for yes, 2 for no? Oh, you guys are so hungry. It's time to eat. After that, I'm gonna make this really quick, so you guys can go and get you some food. And so 1 for yes, 2 for no. Who received their email from Gusto? Who received their email from Gusto? 1 for yes, 2 for no. There we go. All right, I see a whole lot of ones in the chat. And so for those who have no idea what I'm talking about, I sent you an email from, the email is from Gusto. Go ahead, and we're going to do this together right here, right now, to make sure that everybody is completely onboarded as far as payroll is concerned. The most important step after you go to Gusto in your inbox is to follow the steps. And this is officially, you guys have a welcome letter. You guys have an offer letter. This is typically what happens when people receive a job offer. They get an offer letter, and it says, "Hi, Tayla, we want you to work with us. This is how much you will be getting paid. This is where you will be working. This is the things that you will be doing. And we are in relationship. Please sign here." So it says that we are in a relationship, which is also a contract. Making you a part of a Boston builder. You are a Boston youth builder. And so from there, I know some of you might be on your cell phones now. So if you can pull out your laptops or your tablets and just go to your email and see if it went into your junk. It should have been sent to you anywhere between 7:45 p.m. last night and 9:30 last night. So we was up turning the wheels, making sure that you guys had everything that you needed in your inbox. And this system allows you to get paid. So this, setting your Gusto up, absolutely. If you have any questions, add them to the chat and I will answer any and all questions. From there, you're just going to follow the steps. And please show your parents your offer letter. It's amazing, and save it, because this, I was here earlier when Narissa was talking about this is the building blocks and the stepping stones to your future. It absolutely is. I have a 14-year-old that can't join the program but wants to join the program because she wants to add it to her resume. She was like, "Do you know how good this will look on my college application?" It looks amazing on your college application. And so save your offer letter. We do have a question in the Q&A. When I open the email, it says view job offer. Yes, it does. Click that. That is what you are clicking. And I wish I had one for myself to see what it looks like, but I do not. And so it does say, in the chat, somebody said, does it say view job offer. That is the email that you want to open, and there is it's going to take you to the website where you can log in and do all of your sign-in information. Remember, use an email that you're going to have access to. And I was thinking about this last night as I was emailing many of you that use your school email address. I would suggest in the next coming months to open an account, another email account, and then to send all your important documents there, because you won't always have access to your school email. And so if there's anything in your school email that you really want to keep that has memories for you, make sure you get you an outside account, whether it's your iCloud, whether it's a Gmail, whether my daddy still has an AOL account. You guys. Most of y'all don't even know what AOL is. It stands for America Online. It was like the first internet type situation, but I'm dating myself. From there, it's really self-explanatory. I know all of you guys are technologically savvy, and that's why you have 1,000,001 apps on your phone. And so just go through the system, adding your information, making sure that I inputted your information correctly. And I want to be clear that some of them, half of them were done by Dr. Martin, and some of them were done by me. And I'm probably the one that made the mistake. So just make sure that I put in your first name, your last name correctly. I do recognize that some of the students want to be referred to as another name. And so I only used your legal name because this refers to your dollars, and everything referring to your dollars is your legal name. And so from there, once you get into that system, the next step is for you to go ahead and get with Shantae and get everything that you need so I can have your work permit. If I do not have your work permit, I cannot pay you. And it's not because I don't want to pay you, it's because the state of Massachusetts won't let me pay you unless I have your work permit. So the first form of payment comes next week. And so you do have some time before you have to get it in. I need it no later than next Tuesday, okay? And so Shantae has everything that you need. You didn't get an email, LeVar. LeVar, I actually did yours. And so let's go in right now and I'll resend it to you. You might need to check your spam. Because I was the one who did yours last night, LeVar. I remember that. People. So I am Freeman Allen. Okay. Did anybody else? People. Okay, where is LeVar? Right here. Let me just make sure I have your correct email address. And I copy pasted your email address from what you put in for the information. And just a second. Let me come to see if there was any other questions that were asked. Some people may have used their parents' email to sign up for the program. You may want to check with your parents, or is there a way that they can individually DM me if you did sign up? You can submit your work permits to me directly. My email is Tayla@nextleads.org. And so that's currently in the chat. You can send it directly over to me. Oh, you're muted, baby.
I'm so sorry, Tayla. I just wanted to say the reason we were sending them over is because we're keeping them in that folder. I don't know if that's something that Shantae.
Oh, that's fine. You guys can send it to as long as we get it. Yeah, as long as we have it, it doesn't matter who it comes to, because we have a checkbox to make sure that when you send it in, we have a checkbox to get it. So whoever you get it to, just get it to somebody so I can make sure you get paid.
Yeah, so everybody, that's what Shantae was saying, is that the counselors are helping them, and they're figuring out. I don't want to take away from that protocol, because that's what the newer students who are coming in will be doing as well. So we want to keep it all the same.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't want to confuse you guys. And I want to ask LeVar if I have his correct email, but I don't want to put his business out there. Is there a way that I can individually speak to him?
Yes, he can privately chat. He can send you a private chat. If you go up where it says chat, he can find you in the general, and then he can send you a private chat that way.
Hey, Dawn, how are you?
I want to interrupt, but just so we're all on the same page, I've been having some students use Google form to submit the work permit. Is that okay?
That is perfectly fine.
Okay, cool. I can put that link in the chat. That might be easier than like sending a bunch of emails to one or two people.
I got you.
For folks.
LeVar,
so
I just sent you a private message. Can you just confirm that that is your email address? And so does anybody else need help? GUSTO in your inbox. I know that there were 2 people who signed up yesterday. I'm not sure if you're here today. Tate. I could be last name Gail and Janaya. Signed up yesterday, and you 2 may not have accounts just yet, because we wanted to make sure that you were all set and onboarded with Shantae before we inundated you with information that you were like, I don't know what this is. So we just wanted to make sure that you were all set, but I will get that out to you today. Am I missing any questions?
You know, there are questions in the general and in the Q&A, but Kata is trying to fill them all together so that she can hop on here with you and have you answer their questions.
Yeah. So we would send Ms. Shantae our work permits. And so just to reiterate, your youth liaisons are working with you in order to put those work permits up on Google via the Google Drive, just like Dewan just mentioned. Do you still need a work permit if you're over the age of 18? You do not need a work permit if you are over the age of 18. What do you do for the physician's signature? Can we send a physical instead? That's a really good question that I don't feel confident in answering.
Okay, Tayla. So let me read to you some of the questions in the chat. One of them is, can we take a picture of our work permit because I got mine from school?
Yes.
Great.
Yep.
And then Wilmer Diaz asks, did you have my work permit?
Yes, I believe you are the first one that sent it over to me. I just want to confirm. I have Kashana, Jovelli's, Skies, and someone sent me their work permit to my All Aces account too. So you guys are definitely on it. And I love it. Don't let these grown folks tell you you guys can't do nothing, because y'all get it done.
Exactly. So another question we have is, my little brother also signed up for the program and received the Gusto email, but not the Remo conference link. I can send that because we have access to that link. So do not worry about that. I'll handle that.
And so so Christine had a question yesterday, and I wanted to make sure that I answered Christine's question. So Christine, yes, when Gusto is going to ask you, do you want a check or do you want direct deposit? When you put in your direct deposit information, you put in the routing number and the checking account of wherever you want your money to go. And so that is wherever you want your money to go is where it will go. I would suggest that you do direct deposit, whether it's in your own account, whether it's in your parents' account, whether you sign up online to get a bank account, because if you wait for a check, it's going to be payroll time for the next week by the time you get it. And that's just because the mail is slow. People are putting things in the mail that's not getting to them. Mail is getting lost. And so that surefire way to make sure that you get paid is to do a direct deposit. And so I just want to make sure that I answered that question as well.
Another question on the chat is, what do you do if your work permit is expired?
You would have to go through the process of getting another one, only because we have to be in compliance with the state of Massachusetts. If you guys are not, if you guys don't have your work permit, it negatively affects us, and it affects our ability to work with young people again, because it looks like we're not trying to do right by you all. And so, like, useless piece of information. The reason why work permits are so important is because once upon a time, there was no such thing as a work permit, and people were having kids and wasn't sending them to school and was making them work in the field, at the factory. And so there was like lawlessness when it came to young people, and you guys didn't have any rights, and you guys were being overworked, underpaid, and just disrespected. And so that's when the federal government stepped in and said, listen, you can't have kids and that's why there's laws, why during school hours, you can't work, I think it's past 10 p.m. you can't work, and you can't work over a certain number of hours, because then it encroaches on your ability to get the sleep that you need to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for school. It also encroaches on your ability to get your homework done. And so that's how crazy it was out here when parents were really sending their kids to help make a living and help pay bills, when young people were just like exhausted and tired and falling asleep in school and not getting their schoolwork done because they were too busy in a factory or in the field. And so these work permits were really put in place to protect you young people. I know it's a pain in the butt. Trust me, believe me, I've been there. It may have been a while, which means the system was even more flawed than it currently is. But it really is to ensure that you guys are safe and protected. And if we don't do our job to keep you protected, then we won't be able to work with more of you next year. And so, yes, getting your work permit updated is important. If you're over the age of 18, that's when you can make your own decisions and you don't necessarily need permission from the school. I'm going to have to get back to the physician question because I don't know. That's a really good question that I don't know about. And I don't know if we did it last year either. And so I will get with Dr. Martin and with Narissa and Kata and Shantae, and we will get all of the information regarding the physician question for your work permit.
Another question in the Q&A. All we need to do is send you our work permit and sign the offer, or is there anything else like our parents signing anything?
I think if I'm correct, Shantae, correct me if I'm wrong, but the work permit with your parents' information is the only thing that you need to do. Yes, in order to get paid, Tayla needs your work permit and you need to be in the Gusto system because that's where you come from. And then it will go to wherever you pushed it as far as your bank account is concerned. And Shantae said, yes, I am correct. That is the only part that your parents need to be involved in. How does direct deposit work again? Love this question. Okay, so if you're at the direct deposit form, I think I have a check here. I'm old school. And so these are checks. Before there were debit cards, people walked around with a checkbook. And so the checkbook states your name and your information, pay to the order of who is being paid, the date in which it was made out. And on this second line is where you write the numerical. And so if I'm paying you $100, I write 100. And one of the things that you usually see is like people make a line, and that's to ensure that no one adds like $199. So it's just 100 with that line that goes across, and people usually put like a 00 over a 100, which means just $0, 0 cents, $100. From how you wrote 100, because do you know, so a fun fact, weird, I know weird things that nobody knows. So if you, for instance, have a check that says $120 and it's written 120, I know some of y'all have grandmothers that written you birthday checks and Christmas checks, and she meant to give you 125, but what she wrote was 100. They will only give you what is written out. So even though it's like, but it says 125, they will only give you 100 because Granny done wrote $100. And so they will not give you the additional 25 that she wrote in like numerical form. Here for the for part here is where you want to like make a memo to yourself, because most checks, or back in the day, everybody did it. Today, not many people do it. This is a carbon copy. And so whatever I write on here, I have a carbon copy here so I can see what, you know, as a memory of what it is that I actually did. So when it's time to balance your checkbook, you can go back at your carbon copies. For instance, these are old carbon copies here of different things that I paid for, to just like keep in the know of what I paid for and what it was for. And so all the way at the bottom, you will see 2 sets of numbers. Sometimes there's 3 sets of numbers. And so I only have 2 sets of numbers because my check number is up here. And so sometimes your check number will be down here. So your check number is just like the number the check is, whether it's your number 1 check or your number 4,682 check. Your first number is your routing number. And so your routing number is where you want to put your routing, or sometimes it's RT, your RT number. That number is typically smaller than your checking account number. And so you would put your routing number first. And if you don't know your routing number, you can do a really quick check, because routing numbers are based on the region. And so if I'm located in Boston, Massachusetts, my routing number for Bank of America is this. And that routing number just says, where in America is this, like, is this account located? And so this isn't Bank of America. This is, I don't know who this is, but City of Boston Credit Union. So where is this bank located? That's your routing number. Your checking account number is specific to you. So your routing number is specific to where your bank is located. Your checking account number is specific to you, yourself, and where your money is going. And so when you're in Gusto, you want to go ahead and put your routing number in where the RT or routing number is first. And then they say that you don't have to put the zeros that preclude your checking account number. Like you don't have to add the zeros that come before the checking account number. I always do. That it's just force of habit. And so because I'm out of habit, that's what I would do. It's what I would suggest you do. So there's no mistakes made. If you don't have any type of checkbook, you can usually log on to your virtual account, whether you log in on your phone or whether you log in on your computer, and you'll be able to, when you get your account details, or if you look at your account overview, it should have it hidden, and there should be a button that says like, show my account number or show my routing number. And so sometimes you have to go into your settings part of your banking information in order to get the full checking account number, because they usually just show you the last four of your checking account. LeVar, what do the second step mean on the work permit? Oh, and Shantae said that you will have someone help. Hey, Dr. Martin. I feel like I've been talking too much, so I'm going to be quiet now.
I don't know why you're going to be quiet now. I don't know what's going on. I'm just here to be a support. I'm looking at the Q&A, and so so did we answer all the questions in the Q&A already?
Not from Q&A. No.
There's overlap.
I was reading from the chat. I just opened the Q&A. We had the one of the question is, can I send you a picture of the work permit? And we said yes to that. I can easily make it into a PDF. That's not a problem. Just make sure that you have great lighting and put it on like a tabletop so I can get the full scope of the photo. I did my work permit. Now, is that all I have to do? Did you do your GUSTO? If you filled out that information, then yes, your work permit and your Gusto are the two things that you need to fill out, and then you are all set to get paid next Friday. Would you mind putting the Google form for the work permit in the chat? I believe the youth liaisons are currently working on that for you. What do you do if you don't have a bank account? And so, Wilma, we went over using Ally yesterday, ALLY, and how you, if it's not Ally, whomever you want to open a bank account with is who you can open an account with. If you're under the age of 18, you will need help from your parents to open that account. Typically, every bank wants your parent to be over the account or to be in joint with you on the account. And so if you do not have a bank account, get with your parent, just let them know that you would like to open one. There's an easy way that we can do it online, and Ally is one of those ways with an amazing, everybody remember the conversation we said yesterday? What did we talk about yesterday as far as why Ally was a great bank to look at? I'd love to see in the chat if anybody remembers yesterday's conversation.
And while people are putting that in the chat, I just want to come back to a couple of other questions that are in here. So there's two overlapping questions. One is anonymous and one is from Jonae. Jonae is asking, is there an email or something you fill out for direct deposit? I'm still confused. There's no email that you need to fill out. It's the Gusto account. So once you have your Gusto account set up, which everyone should have received an invite, and if you can't find it, check your spam. But everyone should have received an email from Gusto that basically invited you to start your onboarding process. So you would have signed your letter, you would have put all of your tax information in there, your social security, number, your address, all of your personal information. Plus, it will then allow you to enter your routing number that Tayla was describing and your account number, because that is how you're going to get paid or make the deposit. A question that we got yesterday or maybe the day before was, can you use your Cash App card? Not Cash App, but your Cash App card if you have signed up for that program. Yes, you can, because it comes with a routing number and an account number. And so you can have your check deposited into that account associated with your PayPal card, debit card. So wanted to connect those dots. How would the work permit info apply if you're over 18? If you're over 18, if you're 18 or over, you do not need to fill out a work permit. You're good to go. It's if you're 17 all the way down to 15, because this program is for 15 to 18-year-olds. So 15, 16, 17 are the ages where you have to fill out the work permit. 18, you do not have to fill it out at all. So congratulations to you. And then the other question, what's the payment every hour? It's my first time today. So Stephen Andre, it's $13.50 an hour, $13.50 an hour. And then I'm just looking some more. And where do we send the banking info to? So you log into your Gusto account. So everyone should have received that link. Once you finish filling out all of your basic information that proves you are who you say you are, then you'll be asked to put in your direct deposit information, which when they say direct deposit information, they're asking for your routing number and your bank account number. So it's through Gusto. So I'm going to say it one more time. So when you get your Gusto account link, which everyone should have, you fill it out, you follow all the steps that it takes you through to set up your account, submit all your information. One part of that process will ask you for your routing number and your bank account number. So everything that we're talking about is through Gusto. So there's no separate process you have to go through. The only next step is, or step that we've been working with you on, is your work permit for 15 to 17. Those are the two things that you need to get paid. Completely filled out Gusto account with your routing number and your bank account, and your work permit if you're under 18. Does that answer all the questions? Jovelis says that she needs the link, and so let's just follow up with her. If one of the youth counselors can follow up, just to make sure that you're all set. So once we approve you, once you're officially approved in the system, then you will be able to add your banking information. So we'll go through and make sure if everyone accepted their offer letter, which just has some standard language about what it means to have a job. Then once we approve that, then you'll be able to put in all of your account information. I don't have all the info, like the address and position for the promise of employment. So whoever put the question about the information they need for the promise of employment, please see a youth and family counselor, because that, and actually can one of Shantae or one of the youth and family liaison, excuse me, can you drop in the chat the link to the overview, the steps to be able to complete your work permit? Because we actually included a link in that overview that has a completed promise of employment for you already. So all you have to do is fill out your part. So we've already done that process for you to try to make your lives easier. I did my work permit. We already did that one, so I'm going to check that off.
Jump in really quickly. LeVar, I want to make sure you receive the chat that I sent you, and that the email that I put in the chat is the correct email that I have. If not, just respond back with the correct email, and I will make sure that gets out to you right now. You could just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you are all set and you are able to find it.
And Shantae clarified that she was the one who asked that question. It probably didn't ask you that question because you were already in the system and we were just updating, we were shifting you from one status to another status. Let's see. And I'm just checking. Everyone several folks answered your question, Tayla, about why we were giving them an overview of a particular bank yesterday. And so I'm going to stop talking and let you kind of continue that thread. And then if there are more questions, keep putting them in the Q&A. We're going to keep answering all your questions. Even if we've already answered it, we're going to answer it again because we also know that folks are trying to juggle a lot of things right now because we're all working from home. And so we appreciate you, and we're going to have as much patience as possible in recognition that many of you are juggling. And we also need, whenever you're not juggling, to be fully present so that you don't miss the important things that other folks are asking, and make sure that you get what you need. So Ariana, thank you for dropping in the chat the link to the overview document. That document that Ariana put in the chat provides a step-by-step instruction. Someone asked, what does the second step mean in the process? And then I'm going to be quiet. So if you look at that document, the second step in the process says that you will receive an email from basically you're going to receive an email from Boston Public Schools after you fill out that let me start at step one. So step one is that you actually go to the bit.ly link we created for you that's in there to make it easier for you to get to the website. That will bring you to a Boston Public Schools form that they created. So it has nothing to do with us. We just worked with them to try to figure out how this process is actually going to work this summer to try to make your lives easier. And so that link in step one, that bit.ly link, BPS work permit, is the form that you have to fill out so that BPS has you on their official records as requesting a permit, because that is how they're going to show if us as Next Leadership and all ACEs as the employer are questioned about whether or not we actually have a work permit, a valid work permit for all of you who are under 18. That is the official record on the Boston Public Schools side to say, yep, this is a valid work permit because we have a record that this person actually requested a permit from us. So if you don't do step one, then there's no official record that you actually got this permit from Boston Public Schools. Now, in step two, what's going to happen is once you fill out that Google form, Boston Public Schools is going to send you an email that basically is the blank Commonwealth of Massachusetts employee permit application. So instead of having you start from scratch with a blank form, we filled out that form for you. So in step two, there's a link that says, it's a bit.ly link that says work permit -promise. That is the completed work permit or in terms of the promise of employment section. So we filled that out on your behalf. And all you have to do then is fill out the rest of it and get it signed by a parent or guardian. If your parents are not available or not in your life, whatever the circumstances, a guardian or an adult that is responsible for you. So you fill that out, the rest of the form out. So that's all that means, is that you use the employee permit application that we've already pre-filled the promise of employment section for you. So the goal is that helps to simplify the process. Once you have that form, you just fill it out with all of your information and then you sign it, your parent, guardian, or custodian signs it, and then you get a copy back to us that basically allows us to have an official record of your completed and signed permit. right? So we need that on our end to be able to pay you. So we can't pay you without having that work permit, because then we are not in compliance with the law. And none of us wants to be out of compliance with the law if we don't need to be bringing any attention to ourselves, unnecessary attention. So that said, that's what that means, and that's the process. So I hope that was helpful to all of you. And yes, Wilmer, it was Ally. We have some more questions that have come in. Do we have to let our physicians sign our work permit? No, you don't, unless you're 15 or 14. If you're 16 or 17, yes, if you're 14 or 15, we don't have any 14-year-olds. So if you're 15, you do have to get your doctor's signature. If you are 16, 17, you don't need to have a doctor. You don't have to get that signature. And then, let's see, it looks like.
If I can add to that, Dr. Martin, I know many of us have my chart. And so as far as you'll be able to get a letter from your doctor via the My Chart. So if you go into My Chart and email or virtually communicate with your primary care physician or your parent, I know at 15, they told me that the kids had full access to their medical records. And so just check in with your parents, see if you can log into My Chart, request it from your doctor that way. It correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Martin, it doesn't have to be a wet sign. It can be an electronic signature from your primary care physician.
It absolutely can be an electronic signature from your physician, and they should be used to that at this point. We've been in this pandemic for over a year now, so they should be very used to that. And let's see, and I know My Chart is specific to Boston Medical Center. If you don't have direct access, well, no. I mean, in terms of what it's called, different organizations call it different stuff. So if you don't have any of that access, if you just reach out to wherever you go to get healthcare, even if you don't have a primary care doctor, they know how to fill out this form. They're getting a bunch of them at this time of the year. And there was a question about the link in the permit, the very last step, number 4, the permit submission. The URL or the website link was in there, but it hadn't been hyperlinked. So I hyperlinked it for you. It should be blue now, and you should be able to just click it. You can also copy and paste those into your browser. And someone said, Gusto didn't follow up with an email to create an account. That's Sky. Sky, we will follow up with you to make sure that you're good. And it looks like there were 2 upvotes. So there's at least 2 other people who are having a similar challenge. And so we will support all of you in being able to address that as an issue. 3, potentially 3 other people, 3 to 4. Now it's less. But some number of people, that keeps changing, need that kind of support. So we'll work with your youth and family liaisons to be able to make sure that you have what you need. So the first thing to do is to check your email for Gusto, Gusto, check your spam. And if you don't have it, we'll go in and we'll resubmit it to the account. We need to make sure also that I think there was at least one person who had an issue with their email, how it was typed into their original application. And so if you didn't have the correct email address in your application, I think that was a conversation that was happening with at least 1 or 2 people. We'll just make sure that we follow up with you, that we have the exact right email address for you. All of that said, I think we have answered all of the questions, and there's some follow-up actions, but we are very committed to making sure that you have what you need, you get paid, and we support you throughout the whole process, whether it's the paperwork, the getting your Gusto account set up, or your work permit. So those are the 3 big bucket areas that we're happy to support you on to help make sure you get paid. Anything else, Tayla, or folks? I'm going to go back to the chat just to see if there's anything else that's been posted. Okay, thank you, Wilmer. I'm glad that worked out for you. Yeah. So you have to accept your letter of employment in order to get to the next step of the process. So, so if you have not accepted the letter that Gusto sent, your letter of employment that basically says you have a job now officially, then it won't let you go to the next part of the process. So you have to do that first, and then you'll be able to fill out the rest of your account information. And those are all the pieces. So I am really this time I'm going to be quiet. And Tayla, I'm going to turn it back over to you to see if there's any last remarks.
I think Dr. Martin cleaned everything up beautifully, and we got your questions answered. Again, yes, for those who individually message me, I will work on that ASAP, and we'll get with your youth and family liaison to make sure that if you did not receive your GUSTO, please make sure you check your spam, because if you've never been in relationship with it before, your email might just be sending it elsewhere. One of the things that I also learned yesterday is if you have an iPhone and you don't have space in your iPhone, you may not be getting your emails because they're not downloading because you don't have enough space. There's a hack to that. If you send all of your photos to Google Photos, and then in the Google app, there's a button, you know, those three little lines. If you go there and you say clean up your phone, it'll transfer all the photos from your phone onto the Google app. It'll take it off of your phone, free up space, and delete them from your phone, but you will have full access to them on the Google Photos portal. And so we had a young person yesterday whose phone was overfilled and couldn't receive any emails. And so I would suggest, if you're not getting any emails, and whether it's your Google, your iCloud, whatever, go ahead and download the Google app, send your photos to Google Photos, let it clean it up and give you some more space so you can have your downloads of your emails. Paul, as soon as we wrap up here, I will work on that. Are all the checks going to be in Ally? And so, Wilma, the Ally was just one option that we suggested yesterday. You do not have to use the bank Ally. If you want to use Bank of America or Citizens Bank, whatever bank that you feel most comfortable with is the bank that you can use. Dr. Martin also talked about the Cash App card. If you have a Cash App card, that also comes with a routing and a checking account number, so you can use that routing and checking account number in order to direct deposit. And so if you go, when you get your GUSTO and you sign up, one of the questions it asks you is, what is your routing and your checking account number? That is where you would put that information in. If you don't have it yet, you can still go through the process and save everything and come back at a later date and add your banking information. If you don't have a bank account now, you can add it at a later date. And we are not, Ally does not pay us. We are not forcing you. It was only a suggestion based on the research that Dr. Martin did, and they're amazing. Some people said it. What did we talk about yesterday? If I give you $100 and I say 10 in a month, I'll give you 10% of your money. That is called, drop it in the chat if you remember. I think I saw two people say it earlier. Interest, exactly. And so you will receive interest on your money. And this particular bank, Ally, has an extremely high interest rate. So that was the only reason why it was suggested, but we are not attached. That is not mandatory for you. I received the Gusto email and signed and accepted the offer, but I didn't get an email to sign up for direct deposit. So the direct deposit is inside the app. So after you sign the acceptance letter, you go through the steps with Gusto in order for you to solidify your account.
And Taylor, I just want to clarify, there's a step in between. So once you have filled out and once you have signed your offer letter, there's a button we have to push to say, okay, we got the offer letter, you're now onboarded. and then you'll be asked for the next steps of the process. So I just wanted to clarify that. We have a couple more questions. One of them is, do we print out the promise of employment to sign, and then how do we link it? So this is related to some earlier questions. So once you fill out the form and you sign it, you print it out, you sign it, you don't actually have to print it out to sign it. You can do it electronically in the form if you want. You can, use Adobe as a way to sign it. You can type it in, you could do whatever you want as long as it's filled out. But once you fill it out, you work with your youth or family liaison in order to get it uploaded into the form that we created, so that we have an official way to track receipt of your form. Now, if you print it out, if you decide to go that route, print it out, handwrite it, just take a picture of it. Make sure you have, to Tayla's point earlier, make sure you have really good lighting so that we can read it. Make sure it's focused. Make sure you're not shaking a lot so that it's not blurry. Get a good picture of your form, and that picture, you can upload it to the fourth step of the process in that overview form that the work permit overview form that we created for you. Another question is, what do they mean when saying specific nature of employment? So the question about specific nature of employment is assuming that you, in the section, let me just look at it. We're going to get this answered. Okay. I don't see a question about specific nature of employment, that language. The only place where there's a question like that is job title and primary duties. Maybe I missed it. Let me just take another closer look. Yeah, so I don't see that question in the work permit. So if you can just post in the chat where you saw that question, that would be really helpful. Let me go back to the general chat. Yes, so Jonae, like I said earlier, once you do your offer of acceptance, we have to go in and then just click a button. So I'm actually going to use you as an example right now in real time, full transparency. So I'm going to find Jonae. And I'm going to click the magic button that makes you super official. And now that I have done this, you should receive an email. Okay, so there's an invitation that was sent to you, Jonae. Any second, it should appear your email account that basically says, you now can go in and update your profile now that you have signed off on your letter and we have accepted it on our end. So we'll go in, we'll do that for everyone. And today you will get the second part of the process, which is where you'll upload all this information that we've been referring to. So thank you for holding us accountable. We will make sure that we continue to support you and meet your needs. If you think, oh, perfect. So Janae got the email that now allows her to go in and finish filling out her profile in Gusto. So all of you within the next 20 minutes or so will get a similar email and we'll keep going from there. But we just wanted to make sure that you knew exactly what information that you would need in order to fill all that stuff out. So you'll need your social security number, your date of birth. You'll have to fill out a W-4 form. There's a link in there that will explain to you how you fill out each step of that process. Let us know if you have questions. We're happy to help you. So that's all that's for real this time, because there's no more chats and there's no more questions. For real this time. I think we're done. And this is no pressure on you all. If you really do have more questions, put it in the chat while we're up here now so that we can answer them. Otherwise, we're going to say forever hold your peace, at least what for now while we're up here. Temporarily hold your peace. Okay, so Deshaun said, let's see, I finished the promise and the permit survey. How do I make a Gusto account? So Deshaun, you have to find the email in from Gusto in your email account and accept that offer letter. Once you accept that offer letter, then we'll receive it on our end and we'll be able to approve you to set up your account. So we just need you to accept that that letter, that offer letter that's from Gusto. If you didn't receive it, let us know. But check your email, type in GUSTO. If it's not in there and it's not in your spam, let us know and we'll just resend it to you. Okay, last call. Please resend. We got you, Deshaun. And actually, I'm going to do it right now while we have you, just to make sure that you actually get it. All right. Okay, so Deshaun, you actually accepted the offer already. I just saw it. It just popped in. You're at the top. So your offer was accepted. And now, after a few more clicks, you'll be able to log in and put all the information into your Gusto profile and account that you need. Okay, you should also now, Deshaun, have an invitation to finish setting up your Gusto account now that you have signed off on that letter, that offer letter. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. All right. Last call. All right. We'll be here to support you. Yep, we're going to do everyone's. So we'll go through, make sure everyone's all good. By the end, before you're finished today. Oh, wait, no, it's 11:47. Ha, ha, ha. So before, within the next 30 minutes, we'll go through and make sure that everyone is all set in the system and make sure you're good to go. So that all of you will receive that same email where you can then go in and set up all of your information that you need. And again, don't hesitate to reach out to us and let us know if by the end of today you don't have that information, and we'll figure it out. All right, so we appreciate you. Narissa from TCGT Entertainment, did you want to close out with folks with their next steps and summary of today and what tomorrow is going to look like?
Hey, everybody. So we are wrapping for today. This was a very good day. Lots of information about safety, lots of information about getting you onboarded. This is wonderful. Not only are you going to be safe, but you're going to get paid to be safe. That's what I'm talking about. I want to get paid to be safe. Can somebody pay me to be safe? I want to be paid to be safe. I mean, Tayla, I know you want to be paid to be safe. Come on, let's get it. That's like easy money right there. You barely got to think about it, right? So I encourage you all to, if you have questions, you were too shy to put into the chat, which I hope you weren't. But if you were, reach out to Shantae, reach out to Deshaun. They are here, Ariana. They're here for you. So we don't want you to be left behind in any kind of way. We are wrapping for the day. We will be back here on this Remo at 9 o'clock in the morning. Everybody, what time will we be here in the morning? 9 a.m. This is a job. We must all be on time. time. If you are going to be late, you need to let Ariana, Dejan, am I saying his name right? Dejan, am I saying that right? If I'm not, I'm sorry, boo. I am.
No, thank you.
What is it? Say it again.
Dewan.
Dewan. I'm calling you Dejan. I'm sorry. Dewan.
It's
That's
okay.
Dewan. That's W-A-N. My bad. So Dewan. Ariana, and Shantae are here for you. Please let them know if you're not going to be on time. All right. We are done for the day. Tayla, do you have anything else to share? She does not. Okay.
I'm really excited. I know myself and Dr. Martin are going through these emails, making sure that everybody is completed onboarding and you guys are all set. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to get with your young person and family liaison, and so we can let's get you taken care of so you guys can get paid.
Amen. Let's get it, y'all. All right. See you tomorrow, 9 a.m. One love.